live from Whitewater Canyon, March 1st, 2003. We're witnessing the birth of a historical landmark in the making. We have distinguished Otis Bainbridge on violin.
Otis!
How many years have you known him?
An old Irish
but anyway, as you'll soon find out, this man is extremely talented. So with that, you know who you're listening to, and he's going to play a series of tunes that have to do with ceremony.
Mayor to the manor. Fine old Scottish.
Good Scottish tradition.
Right. But we'll do one for Marcus right now. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee. It's a Welsh air.
Beautiful, Otis. Okay, cut. Here goes the ship from CNN. And no, it's not Baghdad. It is Whitewater Canyon. We're going now live to Whitewater River Ranch to...
Hello, I am Bernard Shaw, reporting live from Whitewater Canyon. We are checking out the Whitewater River Ranch sign. This is a ceremony to crown it with the Whitewater River Ranch brand.
Now we understand from CNN headquarters live in Switzerland that this is Connor Mackenzie, who is toutedly recently in the local press to be the new Buddha that is actually going to go in and challenge the state of Nepal for his right to the throne. Is that correct, Mr. Mackenzie?
Absolutely. It's Buddha Boy.
Now we understand that he's already an advanced algebraic scientist, and he has sat down recently with Stephen Hawking. Is that correct?
That's true. He's developed a theory of relative evolution.
Relative evolution.
That's correct.
Okay, cut.
Live from CNN and NN is Otis Bainbridge with some early stories of Whitewater Canyon.
Otis, what is the earliest memory you have?
1964.
1964?
I was teaching up in Northern California.
What were you teaching?
It's 7th grade.
Right.
Social studies, English, and music.
Right.
And I came down here for the Easter break. My mother was staying by invitation with Georgia Scher. She had a trailer here and she parked it down there in Georgia's yard.
Did she know Catherine Mackenzie? Is that?
Oh, you bet she did.
Right.
Yeah, they got along splendidly.
So your mother came down here in a trailer in '64?
She was invited by Georgia to park her trailer in Georgia's yard.
Right.
Georgia. Yeah, she stayed here for about 5 or 6 years. Then she went back to Colorado.
She stayed. Your mother stayed for 5 or 6 years.
No, Georgia.
Georgia did, but but your mom
she
bought
stayed at Georgia's place for about a year.
Right.
And then we managed to get hold of 3 lots from Catherine, Jim Mackenzie, not Jim Mackenzie, Jim Crater and I. And in the succeeding 3 or 4 years, we built those 2 houses down at the end of the
Yeah,
road.
let me just pan over there and look down there. Okay, what happened then?
That's okay, David.
Well, Jim got married,
Jim Prater,
Jim Crater,
right?
and he got on as a building inspector down in India.
Right.
He worked there for a couple of years, but the summers were too hot,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't blame him. So he's been renting his place off and on in between ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had couple of real good tenants,
Yep.
and 1 or 2 that perhaps didn't belong there. But so it goes.
So Otis, you are now, this is March the 1st, the year 2003, and the rumor is that you are 119 years old. Is that a rumor, or is that actually...
Been around as long as I have, that don't seem like so
You
long.
still can play the fiddle, though, that's for sure.
You bet I can play the
Let's
fiddle.
go into another song.
Yeah, here's
What
a
would be
fiddle song.
what would be your song of choice today?
I went to the last night and my daughter was there singing.
Cut! Great stuff. Otis Bainbridge reporting live, CNN, Whitewater River Ranch. From CNN again, Whitewater River Ranch, and we're going up. There's, hey, Michael! Michael! And here we are, March the 1st, 2003. Hey, Jim! Jim Mackenzie! So this is a very significant day because Whitewater Canyon is an extremely special place. It was originally... Shelley, that's great! That was originally lived in by... the original name of Whitewater was called Wanapiapa. Place of water. It was inhabited by the Wanakik Indians, and from the year 200 BC to modern times, which is March the 3rd, 2 centuries later, 2003. The Mackenzie family have owned the ranch for many, many, many years, and over time, over the last few years, various developers, including windmill developers, gold mine developers, everybody is trying to, or has until recently, try and take this place away from its natural course of life. So today we are putting up the crown, the brand of the sign, which is WWRR, which means Whitewater River Ranch. Lauren! And we are hoping very much that when we are all gone, that Bailey and Connor and Emily, what happened? You what? No, it's okay. Take your time. That hopefully all that live here will remember this very, very special place. A natural oasis in the desert with a river running through it, namely Whitewater River. As I said before, originally Wanapayapa. Very, very special place. Some several hundred acres, and today significant. And very, very significant because there are very few places left on this earth where you can have peace and peace of mind. And so I'm going to cut there for a second.
Reporting live from CNN.
Whitewater River Ranch. I'm going to take you for a little tour in the camera and take a look at cottonwood trees. There's Betsy. Oh, who do we have here? Oh, an old Native American. Her name is Shelley. The ridge line ahead of us that the Vikings tried to take from us in 1999. And we fought them off, good, and we won the fight. There she is.
Girl.
And then we go down. Oh, there's another couple of Native Americans over there. That's David Waki Waka Huta. He is the great-great-great-grandson of Red Cloud himself. And there is Cece. Hey, David! He doesn't understand English because he's still a Native American. Reporting live from CNN, Whitewater River Ranch. Peter, tell Jim to turn around. No, the other way. Ken reporting live from CNN, and we're going to cut. Hey Peter, give your wife a kiss. Cut! There is the last bolt. It's going down firmly. We are hoping that this will be all our legacies and will stand up strong for the next 500 years. David Arquette, live from Whitewater River Ranch, CNN. David, what's going on here today, and who is that gorgeous-looking, lovely young female alongside you? We're all interested in her. The world is watching. Go ahead.
This is my beautiful friend, Betsy Mackenzie.
Right.
That has given her time here today to take some photographs.
Right.
For the christening of our, as we can see, our brand up on the Whitewater River Ranch sign.
Right.
And so we were just here discussing some of our earlier escapades.
Escapades? That sounds like Red Light District.
No, not really. More like the best of Whitewater is
we
on
see.
Your film right now.
Right. Okay. Cut.
It does.
What we have here is a historical document recorded in the San Bernardino County Museum. It's called The Whitewater Story, and it is from 1853. Now, in 1853, when landowner Smith got around to riding over his vast corner, where there is that certain branch from which comes the water that forever greens the fields and makes tall trees, and where to the listening ear there is always the trickle of water. It must have looked good to this Easterner in this wild and woolly West, but something of a businessman as well. Always he seemed to have looked upon it with a favoured eye and held onto it through all the vicissitudes of his long life. What he'd from Weaver for $1,000 we do not know. Some of his descendants have stated the title to the property, even to Whitewater, was never clear. The papers supposedly proving his rights en route to Washington by Pony Express never reached there. But he did live and die on this natural oasis, a spot of eternal greenness in a predominantly brown landscape where there is always water and grass, and trees that offer shelter from the sun and wind. A good place for a man to raise cattle and horses and children, to breed sons who in turn would take over. A piece of natural ranch land seemingly always guarded by the majestic pillar of Mount San Jacinto. A later owner who came along long after the Smiths, a man nearing the end of his life and spending his winters by choice in the adobe there, once made this statement. When I get up in the morning and open the door there, that nearly always has a clean white cap on its head, always there, never changing, well, I sort of forget all those pesky things I call my troubles, and I get all quiet and peaceful inside, just like that there old mountain.
Okay. Very good.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, buddy? Huh? Can you see it right away? Not on this, right?
Yeah, but let me just get some history from Jimmy here, but he's beginning to talk. Jim, can we interview you?
Sure.
I'll lead you in.
And then my father was out here, my mother,
Barbara, hang on a second. This is CNN reporting live
That's right. You
from
go ahead.
Baghdad.
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Ready? Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. This is Jim Mackenzie reporting live from Whitewater Canyon. Jim, what is your earliest memory? I remember a long time ago you said you remember coming out here when you were 2. What is the first thing you remember about Whitewater Canyon?
That's a good question, because there are a lot of memories. But as a little boy, I was delighted to be able to run around in this area that we see.
Right.
Very happy to be here with my older brother and my mother and my father. And it's amazing.
Is that an F-16 that's just gone by, Jim? We understand that you used to be a fighter pilot in the Korean War.
Well, I was a fighter pilot, but by the time I got through flight school, the Korean War was over, so I did my service overseas in Tokyo.
Right.
And then later I came back to the States after I was discharged, and somebody asked me if I'd ever gone down to Los Alamedas to see, because they were interested in getting experienced jet pilots. So I went there, they accepted me, and I ended up flying for another 18 years in the Marine Corps. So that's what led to my ability to retire from the Marine.
Now, Mr. Mackenzie, in our archives we found historical evidence that you were somewhat of a daredevil pilot. And there was a particular instance when your plane, I think you were running at, the historical papers say Mark, I think you say 2 or Mark 1, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Air Force said, bail out. Tell us a little bit more about that. What was the plane and where were you? What speed? What happened?
This event happened about 90 miles off the shore from Tokyo in February, and I was flying an FJ-4 Fury, and it just so happened that the flight was such that when we got into our pattern out there to allow airplanes to dive on each other in a simulated combat way, stick in the cockpit stuck hard over on the right side, and the plane went into a continuous spiral out of control. And everybody was saying, get out, get out, get out, because I was going at that point Mach 1.1, and it started at 35,000, but I decided that if I wanted to survive this thing, I had to get the stick centered, and I unhooked all my straps and everything, crawled under and used both hands.
As you were spiraling down at an incredible speed, life was passing by you.
1.1 Mach going straight down.
How fast is 1.3 Mach? Is that 700 or 800 miles an hour?
Oh, yeah. Well, 1 Mach is about 700 plus, and then you start adding, 10 percentiles to it. So it was very fast, but I knew that the water that I was going to go into, if I ejected.
Who was everybody telling you to bail out? You were on your own, were you not? Was this the tower?
No, it's the chase plane.
The chase plane.
Following me down, and he was scared to death.
So you were alone in this aircraft?
Alone in the
traveling about 800 or 900 miles, spiraling to the earth from 35,000 feet. And you decided to get out of the seat, not bail out. Why did you decide not to bail out?
Well, there were a couple of reasons. One, ejecting in a speed greater than Mach is quite a problem in itself. But the worst thing about it was that the water temperature in the ocean directly below me was 34 degrees Fahrenheit.
So you didn't fancy a swim at that time, but you decided...
I know I wouldn't have lived, because
right.
If you go in the water 34 degrees and you're 90 miles offshore, your chances of survival are slim.
And you thought about this and decided you're going to have to do something about it, even though the chase plane that was following you said bail out, bail out. What did you do?
Well, they had no reason not to tell me to do that, because they knew that the airplane was in trouble and it was going down very fast. And I got out of the airplane, or I got the airplane level at 800 feet.
At what?
800 feet above sea level.
Right. You said you got out of the aircraft, or the aircraft?
I got the airplane leveled out.
How did you find, what was the problem with the stick?
We didn't know at the time. And so anyway, I found out that once I got the airplane level and slowed it down, I could fly at 150 knots and control it reasonably well with some special rudder positions. The commanding officer talked to me on the phone, and he said, get out of it. And I said, I'm sorry, sir, but I think I can fly this airplane. And I think we'd all be better off if we knew what happened. So he said, well, you're the pilot. So I did land. And
Betsy, come closer. We're just getting, he's getting his Fury home. Anyway.
So I landed, and I knew I was fast because I had a tailwind and I didn't want to go below 150. And so I put it on the first 10 feet of concrete, and had the good fortune to be able to stop it before I ran off the other end.
All right, wasn't there a curtain or something that tried to stop you from, because you were going too fast? how did you...
on the landing.
Right.
Yeah, well, there's a cable that I had asked them to put the cable up at the far end, which they did, but they forgot to put down the near end, and so I went through it with my tail hook down.
Tearing it up.
About 170 miles an hour. That created quite a show, but it slowed me down beautifully, and I taxied in. That was sort of the end of the whole episode.
Well, Jim, we have now got to go to live to Baghdad, but just before we go, what would be your words that you would pass on to your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and Betsy about Whitewater, Wanapiapa? What would you say about this place that is so dear to your heart that somehow or somewhere that we should cherish and remember?
Well, I think the children are, as they're growing older, learn that this is a beautiful, beautiful piece of the world. And, you know, all you have to do is look around and see the mountains in all directions with snow on the tops. And, I just felt very happy that I, as a young boy, was introduced to it. And now my son's here and my grandchildren come here. And Betsy's kids come here. And so it's, you know, it's been
A treasure.
well, let's see. It's
A
been
treasure?
about,
Yeah.
from age 3 to age 70 years ago when I was first here. So.
Tell us about Catherine a little bit, Jim. I know this is a long, drawn-out interview. The world is watching. But if we don't get this on film, what is it about Catherine that is so important? We can look at the old fireplace over here where there's the old wagon wheel, and on that backboard is carved, I think something like Catherine, I love you, or something. What was it about Catherine?
Well, my father was her older brother, and he had tuberculosis. And so in those days, they tried to get people into dry climates like Arizona or Southern California. And so she was a real estate agent, and she drove around and found this canyon.
How long ago was that?
Well, it was, I think, about 1930.
Right.
And so when my father got ill, the whole family went out there. I mean, my father, my mother, my older brother. And it's been a part of our life ever since. And as you can see from the filming, that this is quite a special area. And it's hard to describe, and not many people know about it.
I know.
And I think we should say about Catherine that she was interested in people, made friends with people, and she would let people that were just walking on the, what trail? What trail? Pacific Trail. Used to go
Right.
by the house here.
Pacific Crest Trail.
And she'd, welcome them, and people just warmed up to her. And in fact, we had a lady come by today that had rented from her. A young man. Anyway, she was a real legend. There were some newspaper articles about her. What they call her, the
Queen of
Queen of the
Whitewater
Canyon or something.
God.
I don't think they mosaic thing.
No,
But
she
anyway,
was a very interesting woman, and she really put together all these land holdings that she had. Very small pocketbook, and but she was successful, and
And she
she
brought
chose.
some athletes
Right, of course.
cottages from the 1930s.
Right, the Olympic little homes.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of them here in the early 30s, and one by one they wore out.
Now, do you have any recollection of the history of the town hall and the Colorado
Yes.
Aqueduct and
Yes.
roughly when that was, Jim?
The town hall was very active in the early 30s,
that's the flagpole.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
It was very active in the early 30s because they were digging the aqueduct across from the east to the west at that time, and there were a great number of guys in
Tents.
no, but I mean they worked as employees for the agency that was leading the channelization of the Colorado River all the way through eventually into the Los Angeles area. And at that time, and I was again just a little boy, but there was quite a tavern. I guess next year you get a bunch of people. It was quite a spot. These guys were all hard workers, outdoor guys. There were a fair share of fights, things like that. Eventually, that was taken down. That was another interesting piece of the history of this canyon when they were digging an aqueduct.
Well, and before that it was the Indians.
Yes.
The Wanakik Band of Kauai Indians, Wanapiapa, Place of Water. And Mr. Mackenzie, it's been a pleasure. We've got to cut now to the Middle East, and we'll get right back to you.